Hey everyone, the Black Queen here with another episode of Queen Reacts. And today I'm going to be reacting to the most recent Cinema Sins by LittleshyFIM. I have 6 episodes right here, which is episodes 19 to 24. I chose not to do episode 25 because that's a two-parter, and only one of them is out. So I feel I should probably just wait until that's out, and then I don't know. I usually do these every I don't know, few months. Every few months I usually get that, unless it's like a big one, like a movie one or something. But yeah, it's pretty much. I need to pull up which ones I have. So yeah, about 6. One was I think it starts with For Whom the Sweetie Belle Toils, which is, I just love that title. Forget which. I'm still picking up. There we go. First it starts with For Whom the Sweetie Belle Toils, then Leap of Faith, Testing 1 2 3, Tradia, and Inspiration Manifestation and Equestria Games. So I'm not doing Twilight's Kingdom yet because it's only part 1. I'll be waiting until part 2 comes out, and then maybe a few others after that, which will probably be the season 5 premiere, and maybe a couple after that. I don't know. It all depends, and I'm rambling on. So let's just get right into this. So 3, 2, 1, and play. Everything wrong with For Whom the Sweetie Belle Toils.
Stealing the spotlight like you always do.
Unicorn magic can separate individual sequins from tongue without ripping apart said tongue. In other words, unicorns are still OP. These nightmarish wings.
She has known about this for weeks, right? I worked so hard on this play.
Sweetie Belle dodged that question so well she surely has a future career in politics. Apple Bloom occasionally has a full-grown mare's eye shines. Sweetie Belle's eyes freeze for a moment.
Forsooth and anon.
Sweetie Belle frequents 4chan. Scootaloo's wings punch holes through her costume.
You may tell us how much you loved it now.
Brony content creators at conventions in a nutshell.
They had to go help Rarity get Sapphire Shores'
I haven't been to BronyCon, but I know some
to help Rarity work on dresses. Friend over family, I guess. In proper Truman Show style, every pony in the room responds to Sweetie Belle's statement. Shoeshine is strangely small compared to Amethyst. AmethystStar.exe has stopped responding. Rainbow Dash trots off screen without ever actually leaving. This section of the crowd isn't even paying attention. Wilhelm is allergic to rain. Princess Luna's shoulder wings. Sweetie Belle's tail goes through this spindle. This room of 5-year-olds and not a single parent to be seen.
They're all OCs.
I'm tired of waiting.
Scootaloo's secret color-changing powers. Rarity actually is the one to blame here. Sweetie Belle's friends are downright horrible, and Rarity should have let them leave.
I was going to save him to the end.
Who saves party favors until the end? Sure, some things one may
pause
take
this
home.
very quick. Sorry about that. Let's continue.
But party horns like this? Sweetie Belle accepts this as fact, and not a fabrication by Luna. It's not part of her memory, and it can't be part of Luna's, unless Luna had hiding in the room at the time.
Or she's one of the. I saw that.
Stuff like what? Perfectly common concerns regarding commitments and responsibilities? Rarity wears an eye mask because darkness in Equestria is scary. If Rarity was holding these pieces together with a single stitch, then that's on her. A couple ponies in the crowd have had way too much caffeine. Fluttershy's tongue attempts to vacate her mouth.
No, I don't do that anymore.
Rarity's never the same since going cold turkey. Rarity apparently didn't take the train. Probably because the CMC wouldn't be able to then, and we would have a much shorter episode. Also, they're heading in the opposite direction of Canterlot. This blue building is black all of a sudden. CMC can't scale this building, so instead they scale this one off screen. See, dear, I told you these tiny balconies weren't just for decoration. Tail muscles. Apple Bloom and Scoots don't retain their momentum as Sweetie Belle does for some reason. Sweetie Belle spares Rarity embarrassment by embarrassing her. Grabbing something and taking it out of reach of a human might be effective, but there's no reason for a unicorn not to be able to get this back. This chase scene becomes increasingly annoying when you consider the previous sin. Does no pony else see Princess Luna? Or is Sweetie Belle still dreaming? Huzzah! The wings have been doubled!
Okay. Rage. Mortal Kombat. Ha! Wasted.
To be honest, the costumes were the best part.
Wait. I don't get it. Sure, if I knew that, I'm sure that's a reference to something. I don't know. I'm gonna close the window. There we are. Everything wrong with Leap of Faith. 4 minutes or less spoilers down.
Lens flare.
Lens
Apple Bloom wears swim floaties, which don't float. Splash specifically targets Granny from afar.
Dang.
Also, the splash increases the number of apples for some reason. Old-timey Ponyville buildings are more modern than modern Ponyville. Back in the olden days, we even fell slower.
Was so sore it took years before I could even look at the water again.
Granny Smith isn't old, she's just dehydrated because of the hydrophobia.
Oh.
That explains why she's better after a drink. These charlatan wings. Half of Ponyville is visibly injured in some way because it's convenient for the plot. The apples don't notice Granny's father walking by. Not only that, but he hasn't aged a day.
I wonder where every pony's headed.
I don't know, why don't you ask some pony?
Now, where in Ponyville do you two think you're going?
We're going down the same path we've been walking.
Mm-hmm.
True to reality, the Season 4 finale-related merchandise appeared long before
It's all
the
the same
finale
colors.
itself. Cartoon ponies. One would be hard-pressed to devise a less practical use of crutches.
Mm-hmm.
No pony questions why Shill's eyesight isn't also restored. Copying background ponies works a lot better when one of them doesn't have a head full of parasprites. Pony knees only seem to bend this way when the brothers are around.
Oh, right.
If these are photographs and these are
Still think it's
illustrations, what are these?
Oh.
Adobe Pony Shop confirmed?
Make you shorter, taller, or even grow old.
With claims like this, you'd think Apple Bloom would at least inquire about it giving her a cutie mark. Fishing exists in Equestria for some reason. Apple Bloom murders a helpless Boulder. Applejack murders a helpless Bloomberg.
Oh.
Granny uses magic sensory powers to avoid collision. She also ages backwards. Here she is in Season 2, here she is in Season 4, and here she is in Season 9.
Wait.
But what's that magic elixir?
This is the only time it's referred to as an
Why should it
elixir.
actually happen,
Meanwhile, tonic is mentioned almost 40 times. Those aware of source materials probably know why the show would want to avoid the word elixir, which suggests this one was left in by mistake. One apple and a couple leaves should not produce this much juice. Clearly, Flim and Flam are secretly adding another ingredient, which makes up the other 85%.
There you are. I've been looking all over. Did you find out what's in the tonic?
This is not an appropriate question to blurt out right in front of Flim and Flam.
Jeez.
These knots should be under the seat.
Being back
I
in
know,
the
I've
water
seen
is
like
one thing, but
several
the
times I've seen
competition is
those
a pony of a different color.
That's
those
racist.
swings.
Love.
Oh.
Granny's rarity-inspired beatbox. This movement shouldn't be possible, but it is because cartoon.
Yeah.
Granny loses a hair which remains quantum locked to her head. These judges are extremely biased if the trophy they are handing out is Granny's likeness. Cloud Kicker is about to fall through this cartoon hole.
Thanks to you, I realize that sometimes honesty isn't the best policy.
Shill's obviously a fan of the last roundup. Convenient bungee disguised as a normal rope is convenient. Applejack's honesty realization effect occurs a minute and a half after her honesty realization, because had it occurred then, she wouldn't have enough time to save Granny. Lens flares have been a recurring sin for a while now because of how little sense they make in a cartoon. But this one makes so little sense no flare can ever top it. Flim and Flam didn't have Shill sign a non-disclosure agreement because they can't even be good at being bad. Apple Bloom's laugh sounds a lot like Sweetie Belle, oddly enough.
Probably it is. Sentence.
Now you hold your horse feathers.
Ah. Wow.
You up for a little afternoon apple bucket?
No.
Testing 1 2 3 is next, I believe. Oh, it says right there. Don't know why I just look at that. Everything wrong with testing. Bien du trois. In 4 minutes. Minuit, I mean.
How Equestria does that pony expect to pass her History of the Wonderbolts exam tomorrow if she's wasting time flying?
Speaking enormous amounts of exposition to self, sin, combo. All of these crumpled sheets of paper transform into only 3 sheets. Twilight takes a chance by assuming the desk and or blackboard hasn't been moved a couple inches. Also, does the spell force unwilling participants to sit when needed? These difficult wings. At first the book appears huge due to the camera angle, but then Dash puts her hooves on it to prove it's actually huge, but only for that one shot. Twilight's so good at teaching she doesn't even need to move her mouth to do so.
Headed by General Firefly.
General Firefly later left the team due to creative differences.
The lightning showered down on the crowd.
It was a tragic event. Twilight still uses a blackboard, even though this is possible. Which is worse, the fact Twilight doesn't see this, or the fact Hasbro didn't think they could get away with a real whoopee cushion joke until season 6? Twilight brutally murders Fernando's cousin.
Well, if you could horse around like this.
Horsing around like this. Dash's answers are ridiculously off the mark.
General Blazing Donut Glaze.
That one actually sounds like a pony name.
Celestia's favorite flight pattern, the Icaranian sun salutation.
Icarus is a story from Greek mythology about a man with artificial wings who flew too close to the sun, dropped from the sky, and died. This line also references incident back in season 1, but continuity isn't the sin here. The sin here is that Celestia's favorite flight pattern is the one where she gets to potentially witness the pony's death. Fluttershy prevents the breakup of the main 6 and not a moment too soon.
Back when they were happy.
As opposed to now, a time where they're best sisters again and Discord isn't ruining their day. Nearly all of Dash's friends help her study for this test, which begs the question, is Rainbow Dash the only pony to not know this history? Every pony must have had to rush ahead of Dash and Rarity to get there and dress up in time.
But I, Pinky, am really real.
Foreshadowing of when we discover she's just one of the Mirror Pool clones.
And Granny Smith discovered the first Granny Smith in Philadelphia.
Which has nothing. The name of the apple or
it has nothing to
name?
do with the
Also,
topic.
that bit of trivia has nothing to do with anything at the moment. Spike is here 1 second, gone the next. The storyboarders did a great job of keeping them animated while simply flying straight and talking. That is, until the camera looks away, at which point they become static cardboard cutouts floating through the air. Half of the kids watching this don't know what it means to rewind a tape. The other half of the kids watching this are adults. We will never find out what was in this briefcase.
Wait, no, that doesn't...
Weather links to Pegasi emotion.
I just got that.
The Rainbow Factory was a dark fanfiction. Just imagine what the canonical Rain Cloud Factory must look like. Twilight moves the telescope along one axis of movement, which somehow translates into 2. Most of the ponies on this platform have no way of getting up here.
What's going on? Read any good books lately?
Twilight acts as though she hasn't seen Dash for a while now, even though they just spoke mere moments ago.
My brain is as dry as a rock. Maybe I'll learn to shine shoes. Just getting my dreams crushed. No other plans for the rest of my life.
Rainbow Dash's social media posts that day caused her to lose many a friend and follower.
Did you know Pinkie Pie grew up on a rock farm?
Yeah, we were there just a couple episodes ago.
Oh yeah, that's
Rainbow
right.
Dash complains about how much of a loser
that was the last
she
one
is.
I reacted to before
She lands at her
this video.
giant mansion with her alicorn friend. Rainbow Dash's tail detaches. Rarity's Luna impression is spot on. Somehow, Rainbow Dash can hear this history lesson while flying high above and talking with Twilight. Yes, that's the whole point of this episode's conflict resolution, but her freakish powers of observation are never explained. Also, Dash sees all of this happening below and doesn't mention nor ask about it. This pointless staple. Episode about learning difficulty has its rather realistic conflict magically resolved in seconds to the extent that she not only passes the test, but gets a full 100%. Wait. He never actually looks at Dash's answers. He just skims the page on top and gives her a 100% moments later.
Right. Maybe there's some explanation, but I doubt it's anything.
You are not dumb.
Well,
Flashcards!
God.
It's gonna be so much fun!
Come on, dude. Oh. Next, Tradia. I should become a patron one day. I don't know. Next, everything wrong bit. Tradia and Cat Manager S. Spoiler stuff.
We're all going to the Rainbow Falls Traders Exchange!
Pinkie addresses the audience. Applejack tugs on one side of the strap, and the other side magically attaches. Conversation starts at the train station and continues during their exiting of the cave, which suggests quite a lot of dialogue was cut based on how far apart they are.
Oh.
These princess wings.
Why don't we pool our trade stashes?
Either of them thinking this is a good idea, even though each of them are keen to get something for themselves. Applejack may not be good with math, but Rarity should know better.
Princess on duty. But I don't think that means I have to sit up there all alone doing nothing.
Twilight neglects her one job because she thinks it's too boring. This first edition, one-of-a-kind signed book is just sitting out on a table with no protection.
Daring do with the sapphire statue! And the quest for the sapphire stone.
Right.
Well, which
It's
is
still-
it then?
yeah, I
Rainbow
think he
actually
passed-
thought
I
this
think
had
he,
value to
talked about
anyone
that.
but herself.
In that other
It's one of
episode.
a kind.
Rarity's misuse of that phrase suggests she has a long history of eBay sales. The
Oh.
brooch was definitely not there before, not even in the shot directly prior to this one.
But I know it's older, and that's what makes it so much more divine.
Rarity admits even she knows they look alike, but the knowledge of one being older makes it rarer. That means there's a 50% chance she just shoplifted.
Uh-huh.
And the vendor is either okay with that, or not paying any attention whatsoever to his merchandise. Orthros breaks random chains
Or she just
for the
traded
fun of
the
it,
same
but not
thing.
its rope. The episode storyboard is visible here.
Mhm.
Lamp appears, disappears, then reappears somewhere over here. Background pony cutie mark, OC pony cutie mark.
Oh.
Fluttershy's bad main day. This brony OC is obviously a fan of that one brony written episode. The show has officially been fully infiltrated.
Uh-huh.
Background ponies are copied straight from previous episodes. They might have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for this blatant Philly Applejack clone.
I could
Oh.
use a slightly rusty old horseshoe.
This sin is memorandum of my suspension of disbelief. Let it rest in peace. At
Nah,
no
it should
point,
rust in
especially
peace.
now, do they think to simply buy one of the items on their trading list. If the chalice can be traded for with a rusty old horseshoe, surely they can buy a bunch of them for a single bit. Pinkie Pie traumatizes a child. The nose boop makes it assault and battery.
I just came to pony watch.
You can add stalking to the list of Pinkie's crimes.
I'm fast. I'll fly over to the lampstand and find out what kind of chicken he wants.
If she's so fast, she could have done it by now. Why is she still talking?
Well, maybe you shouldn't get one of those.
Yet another vendor quiet about something they shouldn't be okay with, and this time there's no denying he's aware of it.
Mhm.
Background pony behind AJ appears out of nowhere and casually walks away. Dash's hoof detaches at the edges. Dude uses his Make-A-Wish wish to get on the show, only to be depicted as a jerk.
No.
Why does Lemon Hearts have to pay, but none of these ponies do? Light turns on, even though the pull chain isn't pulled. One head for licking ponies, the other head for something else. The one time Rainbow Dash is in a hurry and doesn't think to fly. Yeah, she's taking the Orthros, but she could always fly ahead and make the trade 20 feet away. But no, we need to let Fluttershy have this moment.
Mhm.
Vendor handles first edition one-of-a-kind signed book after being covered in dog spit. Vendor immediately heads for Manhattan without closing down their booth.
What did I do?
You sold your friend into servitude.
Uh-huh.
Element of loyalty, everyone.
Princess Twilight princess books that she got from Princess Celestia.
Pinkie takes a page from the marketing playbook of Hasbro.
Oh.
Over here! Over here!
Changeling disguised as
Yeah.
Minuet forgets to alter voice.
But my hoofs are tied.
Princess of Friendship rules that bureaucracy trumps friendship. Oops, accidentally moved the episode to the left. Just
Oh.
kidding. The editor of the episode itself did. There's no carriage nor engine in front of them. They're just magically moving down the track in one lone car. It's way too quiet in here, considering this window is open. No, not that head.
Oh. Sentence sold by friend. Okay, yeah. I guess that's kind of an obvious one.
She's gonna get the book she really wants.
Well, she's not.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's right. Double princess!
Hey everyone, thanks for watching. This episode of Cinemersons is special. Not only is this Cinemersons number 100, but this month also marks the 5th year anniversary for this series. Whether
Oh.
you've been watching since then, or just recently started, thanks.
I've been watching since, like, mid-season 2 of this series, not of the actual show.
I need my book, Spike. What have you done with my book?
The Ponyville Foal
Where's my son?
is almost ready to begin!
Foal and Philly Fair translates to Baby and Girl Fair. So basically the same audience as what we're watching now.
Ah.
Just because the attendees are young doesn't mean they don't deserve my very best creative work.
Rarity, sweet summer child. Just look at what the youngins are watching on YouTube these days.
This puppet theater
Mhm.
is going to be the talk of the Foal and Philly Fair.
Gee, this Foal and Philly Fair must be a pretty big event. Too big to ever actually show on screen, even. Both problems with the puppet theater are easily fixed. Simply remove the rear legs and flowers. Of course, that's not possible because then the episode wouldn't exist. These possessed wings. Spike hunts for a vague magical solution all on his own instead of just asking his best friend and guardian, who happens to be a bona fide expert on magic.
It's not who.
The Who joke is almost as unfunny and repetitive as
The Who is a
joke
great
is almost
band.
as unfunny and repetitive as reference. Ladder hung from invisible rail. It also phases through these books.
And it looks like far wide eyeballs.
Out.
Why do you have to make
Like the
everything
one
about
on the
race, Spike?
Wednesday
Spike
Frog.
just happens to pull on the book, which just happens to activate the passageway. But the real sin is that he felt the need to take a closer look at this book, which is clearly visible without removing it from the shelf. Assuming, of course, the books actually have covers in universe, because if not, this is a 3-in-1 sin. Better get a punch in that sin card, Spike. You're due for a freebie. That's a cool trick, Spike, but the lock wasn't doing anything anyway. Why would Celestia and Luna have this book in such a giant room to contain it? Don't they have a better location to protect dangerous magic? The book's binding constantly swaps sides throughout the episode.
If I wasn't supposed to have it, it wouldn't be so easy to get.
Spike watches a lot of movies online.
Inspiration, manifestation.
Roll credits.
Yeah.
This spell is decoration only. Rarity actually thinks casting a random spell from a scary-looking book given to her by Spike, of all people, is a good idea. Does she not remember the last time some pony used a random spell before knowing what it did? The card's wheels
I mean,
are
I don't
on
think
the
she
wrong
witnessed that.
side. Picking it up to move it around would result in it digging into the ground. Cheerily begins to roll up this banner, but then freezes and doesn't move at all.
Perhaps I should keep it just a scotch longer.
Rarity pronounces
Scooch.
Scooch as Scooch and hopes no pony notices.
My fall line for the next 15 seasons.
19 seasons and a movie. Rarity wants to keep her dark magic a secret, which is why she's standing right behind Fluttershy, where she's bound to be seen. Rarity's ladylike beatboxing.
Yeah.
What were these Earth ponies going to do with the spoons anyway? These ponies are either teleported far away or deleted from existence. In either event, there's a chance Rarity just committed murder.
No, because
I thought for sure
What? This?
Well, I just
sorry,
wanted to try
it switches
Twilight
like
falling
it
from this is no
pretty
sin
much
of her own,
teleports. It doesn't
but
just
rather
appear out
for
of nowhere.
Spike.
Have you seen any
Teleports from
ponies
someplace.
suspicious around?
What about that one rude unicorn we've never seen before and apparently don't even know by name? He should be suspect number 1 if he's not already. If he is already, then he's been falsely accused. Sin counter always wins.
The gazebo has been turned into solid crystal.
What gazebo? You mean town hall? The multi-story enclosed structure not at all fitting the definition of a gazebo?
Uh-huh.
And 2 ponies are now trapped inside its walls.
It would be 3 ponies, but I was on break and totally
Right.
not neglecting my work there. Spike uses the golden road to determine which way she went, but she couldn't have gone anywhere without
Oh, I know. It's-
retroactively
what's
making
her
the ground
name?
Spike was standing on golden. Rarity completely forgets to question why Aloysius is flying around her like this, or to question why Spike is clearly swallowing a book-shaped object right in front of her.
Go by chariot, or as everyone will soon be calling them, Rariot.
Step
Oh,
1.
God.
Be consumed by an evil entity that completely changes who you are. Step 2. File for trademarks.
Transformed by my creative vision.
Never underestimate the power of Rarity's creative vision! The moral is sound. Rarity's curse/possession is lifted when Spike ceases the empty compliment and tells her the truth. But in execution, this raises so many questions. Why wasn't it lifted when other true words were spoken? Had this occurred in any other situation, how could they have gotten free? Yeah, because all of this is Spike's fault, not Rarity, who actually caused all the trouble.
Well,
Maybe she was
he
being
gave
controlled
her
by something,
the,
but no pony made her cast the spell in the
the
first
item.
place.
Princess Cadence and Princess Luna have much better things to do than help me clean up Ponyville.
Except Princess Celestia. She just didn't feel like helping.
Right.
Do you have any idea how hard it was to reverse that much dark magic?
The least reversible of magic is, of course, Dirk magic. That's
Dirk.
right, we've made fun of both Tabitha St. Germain and Tara Strong today. No one's going to watch Cinemare Sins after this.
Right.
You don't look so good. What? I'm just being honest.
We have to wait another 64 episodes before we learn the pitfalls of being too honest.
Wait, which episode was that? I don't remember.
Yo, it doesn't travel.
Ah.
Oh, there's no room for my puppets.
But again, he's pretty big. So maybe he just couldn't fit in there and he has to fit in there. It did look pretty small. what was the next one? Equestria Games, I think. Right. Okay. Oh no. Oh, that's
Spike
right.
is irritatingly oblivious.
Again.
The background voices contain far more ponies than actually seen. And seconds later, there's no background voices at all. Once the main characters speak, they take quiet on the set very seriously. The celebrity wings. This opening has dangerously jagged edges, suggesting lawsuits don't exist in Equestria. This luggage cart is useful, but only up until one reaches platform stairs.
I have a simple trick.
Spike giving advice is a textbook example of the Dunning-Kruger effect.
Spike, are you all right?
Even this building is concerned.
You are known throughout my empire as great and honorable, Spike the Brave and Glorious.
So
Right.
Pony had to actually think that title through and decide it's a fitting name.
That's you!
Somehow they missed this when they arrived. There's no way this guy's taking a picture of the statue while this close. Mark on Twilight's throne looks like a cheap knockoff at first, then it goes back to name brand. Although, knowing Hasbro, maybe it was the other way around. This pony has been decapitated.
okay.
Remember these super important characters? Well look, now we have even more super important characters we'll rarely see again. Careful there, buddy. You almost tripped on nothing.
Have you told him? No, but he might have figured it out on his own.
Twilight knows Spike better than any pony, and yet she still overestimates him.
Where I can light fire.
Don't you think Joey will figure all this out?
Well, it wouldn't be the first time.
I heard it.
How you saved our empire last time you were here was really amazing.
Spike is praised throughout this episode. Remember, this is the event they're all referring to. You know, that time Twilight and Cadence saved the day while Spike tripped up and almost destroyed the heart. If this were any other cartoon, Twilight would have simply lit this on fire for him, continuing a cascading series of white lies which end in disaster. Instead, Twilight skips all that TV tropes nonsense and crushes Spike's dreams right away.
If I can set fire to stuff with my mind reading must be just around the corner.
Those two abilities have just about nothing in common. Soren, this is not the time to take a nap.
Unicorns will no longer be admitted without a disabling spell.
But unicorns wearing hats are okay to pass. We know Applejack doesn't have a horn, but you'd think they'd realize a hat could defeat this level of security.
And make sure you don't even try casting a spell or we'll know it.
Does he say all of that to every unicorn, or just main characters? Somehow, even with both Bicep and Fluttershy's slowdown, Dash still manages to take second place. Meaning, had they been replaced with literally any other Pegasi, they'd have taken gold and remained ahead by miles. The Crystal Citizens have brought this upon themselves by foolishly making Spike their celebrity. Spike brings the embarrassment upon himself by being foolish. Meanwhile, a sin is brought upon this episode for making us endure it.
Wish this was over. 'Cause it
Right.
is. Yes. Over. Now. Oh, weirdly wonderful.
That's
Goes on
it's
for
just
some time.
so cringy.
This section is where the ponies sit, and this section is where the alien blob creatures sit.
Oh, right.
This dividing line is awkward for everyone involved.
But I don't know the words to the Cloudsdale anthem.
Sorry, every pony, there's been a misunderstanding. Exit stage left,
Right.
problem solved. That doesn't happen. This pony forgets he's a competitor and not a spectator. The event organizers really should have had a contingency plan for this.
Towards the field! Away from the crowd!
Threat of a giant
They should have
jagged
just,
ice
like,
cloud
not had any
smashing into a
clouds.
stadium full of ponies. You know, for kids.
Cut the disabling spell!
There isn't time! The disabling spell should have only applied to unicorns that had to pass through security. Did they really make all of the officials and even the princesses do this? These ponies are
I mean,
too
I
far
think
away
maybe
to
they had
help,
to.
but too close to be safe. Thank Celestia for their indecisiveness. Spike momentarily breaks physics. Leave it to the pink princess sellout to bow before Spike. Celestia and Luna ain't having none of that.
Would you do me the great honor of lighting fireworks in my...
Cadence will never learn. Gotta wonder if she's been
Right.
sarcastic this whole time and is actually mocking Spike with this special treatment and obnoxious titles. Headcanon accepted. Spike lights a dozen fireworks, but we see almost 20 detonate. Maybe Twilight wasn't done helping after all.
If any of you could do that, you'd have done the same.
They probably could have taken care of that if the conflict wasn't so arbitrarily restricted.
Well, yeah, that's kind of
or
the point,
not
though.
focus on giving Spike the spotlight. The overarching problem with Spike episodes is that every pony else has to be dragged down for him to shine at all.
Right. Sentence. Right. Yeah, I can agree with that. Oh. Well, that's dark.
I don't know. Can you turn back time?
Yes.
What do I could do over on that opening ceremony?
Oh. Another. Okay. And I believe that was the last one, so I'm just gonna exit out right here. Otherwise, it'll just replay. So. Yeah, that was a pretty good set. I wouldn't say it was like one of the best sets that I've seen, but definitely that last one is like my favorite out of the ones that I've seen like in this video, because most of them just felt like a regular Sins episode. The last one had more jokes and more relatable moments that you could get. But the other episodes, like the episodes themselves, I'm mostly fans of. Like Trady is a good episode. Testing 1 2 3 I think is a good episode. I think some people don't though. But there's also For Whom the Sweetie Belle Toils, which is one of my favorite episodes of season 4. Mostly because of Luna, but also the title. Yeah, I think some people will get it, but like some people won't. So I think that's pretty much everything. I hope you enjoyed the commentary. I didn't say much, so yeah. Leave a comment. God bless, stay safe, have a nice day, and as always, goodbye.